good afternoon, and good evening to all. Myself Vaibhav. In today's session of automated trading, we will be continuing to work with the linear regression intercept and the Williams R. This is the third part of the ongoing series, and we have done fair bit of work involving the initial setup, and we have also almost finished the buy side of our setup. And there is a brief description for the linear regression intercept. By now, I hope you are well familiar with the indicators involved, the ATR for optimizing the entry and exit point. Before we get started for the day, this is a standard disclaimer. Here I would like to remind that this session is simply for the tutorial purpose and no claim is being made regarding the profitability or otherwise of the algorithms which we will be developing during the session. Suppose if you want to use any of it on your live account or on your demo account, I would suggest that you do first extensive testing for many months and maybe even years. And also, nothing in the webinar is to be constructed as an advice to trade or for any particular setup. With that, we get back to the charting to see what we are trying to achieve. So in our buy side, we wanted to make sure that the trading happens as and when the price action moves from the upper side of linear regression intercept to the lower side, and at the same time the Williams R should be entering into a oversold territory. That means just for the last hourly close we have the value which is below minus 80, and in prior hours the value was above minus 80. That means this is just the start of this movement on the downside, as well as the magnitude the fall is substantial as the oversold territory is being reached. So we want this both the change in momentum, change in direction, as well as it should be strong enough. So that's why we are utilizing this combination. And in yesterday's session we were only concerned with the trend change, the crossover from say bullish side to the bearish side, or from bearish side to the bullish side. And now what we are trying to do is we are going to get element of consolidation as well. So now if the sell trade is going to happen, as you can see here we have this linear regression intercept giving way, and now the price action has moved to the lower side, and Williams R has also entered into oversold territory. But we will see on the prior consolidation if there has been good enough consolidation on the upper side after due retracement, only then we will be getting involved. So what that will do is it will, in times of undue volatility, when there is zigzag momentum, when the trend is changing every few hours, when there is no clear cut direction, in such times no trading will happen. So to that effect, what we are going to do is we will along with the earlier requirement that was before the trading happens and the last hour candle close is below this linear regression intercept, we were checking on the historical candle with a shift back period of 3 to make sure that the prior candle was above this linear regression intercept. Using similar tactic, we will add one more condition that the historical candle on the hourly time frame 10 hours back, that is with value of shift 10, that particular candle should have also closed above linear regression intercept. That will convey that at least for last 8 to 10 hours we have seen consolidation happening above this linear regression intercept, and this is a fresh change in the momentum, and that will increase our chances of making a decent amount of profit. So just to do that, we are bringing in these additional condition. Now as we were working on the buy side, suppose here the trend change happens, the crossover comes, the price action moves above linear regression intercept after being in a bearish side of this linear regression intercept for considerable amount of time. But here the momentum is not strong enough, so no fresh trade will be initiated. Now in another instance of buy side trade happening, as you can see here we have this price action moving above linear regression intercept, as well as there is magnitude as well. and we have these Williams are entering into a overbought territory. So in this instance, apart from looking at the last candle and the prior candle 3 hours back, we will also take into account the closing levels of hourly candle 10 hours back. So this is the first hourly candle which has closed above linear regression intercept, that is the time is 3 GMT. So we will need to now go back 10 hours back in 10 hours, and that means the time will be uh, 24 8, I think roughly 16 or 17 GMT. So that hourly close will be checked, and we have that close below the linear regression intercept. So we will take the linear regression intercept block with shift value of 10 as well as the historical candle block of shift value 10, and then that condition will help us to make sure that there has been due consolidation. And here, as you can see, the chances of being in profit increases, and that's what we are trying to achieve. And also the trend is changing on our side, and with good amount of momentum as well. So as you can think, the logic is also considerably strong. So we do that, we add these two conditions, and then we also have to finish yesterday's calculation for the stop loss, target, and the order validity. Yesterday we had brought in these three calculations, expression blocks, and we had almost finished the setup on the buy side, but now we are adding two more conditions, and for that we will need to bring in some additional blocks as well. And this change which we are doing in today's session will make our algorithms probably more profitable. Of course, unless and until we do testing, we can't really talk about that, but still, just looking at the underlying logic, I think it should increase the profitability. Now we need the info, and here is the historical candle. As I said, we will need to look at, and here comes the linear regression intercept, and here is our additional condition. Here are our additional blocks by which we will define the, we have to disconnect the flow and join it here, and here, and then as you might have guessed, that is the logical endpoint. Now we have to change this to 1 hour, this one as well, 1 hour, and shift, as I said, is going to be 10. Here also shift will be 10, and then we will need to take one more a block, logical, and here is the condition. And as I said, when we are going for a buy trade, the hourly candle 10-hour back should have closed below the linear regression intercept at that point in time. So we will look back 10 periods, 10 hours each for the linear regression intercept as well as for the historical candle. And this candle 44's closing level should be below. So here we have to take candle 44 close, candle close, and we have to consider the line 45, and line 45 is linear regression intercept. Candle close should be below the linear regression intercept. So what we have to do is add this condition. So here we add it just before the defining of exact trade initiation point. Rest of the conditions remain as it is. So here Williams R24 should be less than minus 20. So that condition remains. Williams R24 is less than minus 20. And the candle close of candle 44 should be below line 45. Okay, so here we have defined this, and here is our last comparison of candle 27th close and the candle 21st close. Now our attention moves to this 0.1 million is good enough for testing. Slippage 2 pips is good enough for Euro USD. Stop loss and the target price, we will need to define these variables independently. So here we name it SL for stop loss, and this one will be TP for target price. The only thing we have to do is we also name this OVT, order validity time. So we have created these variables, but we have to fill in the values, and the price is going to be the BE. Here we have done this calculation earlier, and there what we are doing is simply we are deducting hourly ATR of last hourly close from the last hourly candle close, and that will be our price for the buy limit order. And now we have to get the values for these variables we have created. It's kind of type conversion as well. As here we will be doing the calculations involving double values, and then we have to convert those double values into the integer format to fill in here. So now for stop loss is going to be equals to the hourly ATR. So first thing we do is we do the calculation for stop loss, and for that we need to take the ATR value, which is line 25, and we multiply it by the type conversion factor 10 raised to the power of 4, as the Euro USD has pips defined up to the 4 decimal points. So to change those pips into integers, we will need to multiply it by 10 raised to the power 4. So we do the calculation here. We create a fresh variable and we write it TCF 10,000. Okay, we get that variable TCF over here. We have to do the multiplication A1 into A2, and that's it. We have our stop loss value ready. So here it comes. Then the next in line is target price, and for the target price again we will need to do the calculation, and here it is going to be twice the ATR range, so we are going to need to multiply the stop loss value equivalent by twice, and only then we will get the target price. So what we have to do is we have to bring in the TCF as well as we have to create a fresh variable, say target price pips, and it will be 2, so it will multiply the ATR by 2, and then we will multiply that value by TCF. So it is going to be A1 into A2 into A3, and this is our TP. So here we have to put this, and now we have to define the order validity, and order validity is in long format. These values, the stop loss and target price, are in integers. To define the order validity, we have to take into account the on tick time, last tick time, it is here, and then we have to create a fresh variable, and this is going to be TT tick time, and it will be 3.6 million ticks. So count the zeros well so that we don't make a mistake. It should be 3.6 million, and why we are bringing in 3.6 million is simply because in 1 hour, that is the amount of ticks which will be initialized by the setup, the system. I hope I have got it right. As far as I can see, it is right. So we have to now take that value, and we got this last tick time. Okay, and we have to now create a fresh variable, create a new variable, and as I said, that is good enough for 1 hour, 3.6 million ticks, and we are going to keep the order validity for 3 hours. That means we will need to multiply it by 3. So we now create a fresh variable with value being 3. So here we have got this, and it is going to multiply the 3.6 million by 3. So here we get this, and we now have to do the calculation, and we have to add this ticks multiplied by 3 into the last tick time. So that will be A1 plus A2 into A3. So, and it is going to be valid for 3 hours. So here we have defined all the requirements, all the parameters for the buy side, but I don't think we will be able to finish up the sell side setup. Still, we will initialize it, and then most probably in tomorrow's session we will be able to finish it. Tomorrow is also Friday, so then you will be free to do the extensive testing over the weekend. So we see what can be done in today's session. Let us take some if blocks. We just get try to get a bare bone structure ready for the sell side. This is the buy side. Buy side is almost done now. So let us take a couple of if blocks, but I think I'm not really expecting that we will be able to complete. So rather than doing a half of the work today and a half of the work tomorrow, we will instead do all of the work in tomorrow's session only. So here with these empty if blocks, we sign off for the day, and the conditions here we will be put in tomorrow. So join in tomorrow for the fresh session in which we will finish up the sales side, and then we will do the testing as well. So once again, I would like to thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.